Today is September the 29th, and here are your headlines. We do the college football rewind for the fourth week. That includes UCLA versus Arizona. Activision, well, they announced a $3 million Call of Duty League. The North American Qualifier tournament results are also in. Turner Broadcasting is going to be part of esports there as well. According to some baseball news, some NFL news, a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you're ready, well, it's just time to go. And welcome to show number 11 of the Bridge of Sports podcast here in the Black Swamp Studios. I am Joe. You know the headlines, so let's get to it, shall we? Now, one of the things that I did not want to get to, or at least put up in the headlines, but I do want to get to this, is last week a high school quarterback, Evan Murray, passed away. This was after a high school football game there in New Jersey, and what happened was when he got hit, the hit itself lacerated his spleen. He did walk off the field. He was put on a stretcher, taken to the hospital, and they're in Morris County, New Jersey. And from there, he had passed away. He was a part of the Warren Hills Regional High School. They were playing against Summit High School there last Friday. And he was 17. I mean, this whole situation just sucks. And really, there's no way for these players, with all the pads that they have on, with all this concussion-related issues that's been going on with the NFL and in college, and all these protocols. But there was nothing, there's no way to protect players from certain hits. And when a hit like that happens, it's going to really, really hurt. So to the Murray family, I issue my condolences. This whole situation is just bad. And 17 years is just way too short of a time period. I mean, everybody within New Jersey was just really hit with this, including Chris Christie, the New Jersey governor, and the New York Jets. So that's just a bad thing. But I want to put that first, just to get done with it and move on into some slightly better things. We're going to go into the NFL now. And the Redskins lost again. They're now 1-2 on the season. They lost to the lowly Giants. That was on Thursday night. And I think that this is just really looking bad for the Redskins. Technically, it's almost like the Browns issue with Johnny Manziel, but this is worse. This is just way, way worse. Kirk Cousins should not be the quarterback. I'm sorry. But hopefully, and with the way that things are going with the Cowboys as well, the NFC East could end up in the Giants' hands. It really, really could. Cowboys were picked, but people got hurt. We'll get to them there next. But, Eli Manning, he can be a good quarterback. I think he will be. And I think that the Giants will win the division. Right now. This division just sucks. Now let's go to Sunday and talk about the Cowboys. The Falcons beat them. The Falcons are now 3-0 on the year. And they are just going through what they need to go through. Like Matt Ryan, 24-36, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. Julio Jones got 12 of those receptions. That's half of them for 164 yards and both of Matt Ryan's touchdowns. That's pretty good. It's going to be really interesting to see what the Falcons do for the rest of the year. Because, they got the Texans and Redskins. I think they're both wins to them. Saints looks like to be a win against them. The Titans, wow, they could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 wins in a row. Buccaneers may be a little tough. 49ers win. Colts, we'll see how they evolve. Right now, I'd say that might be a win for them. The Vikings are actually pretty good. I say about a couple losses, about maybe 2, 3 losses. But the schedule really shapes up for Atlanta in the NFC South. They're 3-0 right now. They could actually, wow. They could be 13-3 because of their schedule. I mean, nobody really here looks good. But yeah, I mean, and the Cowboys, if they win 2 games, they'll be lucky. I mean, seriously, they are hurting that bad. 2 losses of key personnel just does that to you. Tony Romo, He's out. I mean, they're just bad. I mean, could Brandon Whedon be good for the Cowboys? I don't really see that happening. First win, this is against the Falcons, was a loss. Okay. Saints? I think the Saints could win that game. Then they get the Patriots. Good Lord. You're looking at possibly 2 losses right there. They could go 3. Wow. This is bad. This is absolutely bad for them. With Tony Romo and Des Bryant out, this is just bad for them. They have the Saints, the Patriots, the Giants, and the Seahawks. Good Lord. That for them is brutal. They have a chance against the Saints. They got a chance against the Giants. No on the Patriots, no on the Seahawks. They actually have a chance against the Eagles. So, okay, 8 weeks. 8 weeks for Des Bryant. So, Giants is where he got hurt, week 1. Eagles, Falcons, Saints, Patriots. That's 4 weeks. Giants, Seahawks, Eagles. He comes back. He could come back there for the Buccaneers. Tony Romo could come back when they face the Dolphins in November. This is going to be bad. This is going to be very bad for the Cowboys. I feel bad for them. Feel really bad. Colts finally got a win. They beat the Tennessee Titans in a close one. Andrew Luck is having a very bad year. As a matter of fact, I think in the QBR, quarterback passer rating, he is way towards the bottom in the passing rating. Oh my gosh. Frank Gore was actually the top rusher in the game, got 14 carries for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota. I mean, keep in mind the score is 35-33. 27-44, 376 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's a winning game. That's a winning game right there for Mariota. And then, how impressed are you by the Oakland Raiders? Yes, they beat my Cleveland Browns. Whatever. I don't want to hear it. Meh. Oh, fine. I'll talk about it, though. Yeah, I know. It's just that bad. But, you know, Josh McCown, just go to the Brown side first. Josh McCown had a really good day. 28 of 49, 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's really, really good. That's impressive. But receiving-wise, give it to Oakland. Amari Cooper. Amari flippin' Cooper. Oh my gosh. It's Carr to Cooper. Derek Carr is having a pretty good year this year. With his team with a 2-1 record. Keep in mind, they were beaten by the Bengals, and the Bengals are really good this year. So far. They're the Bungles. The Bengals. The Bungles. The Bengals. If you get what I'm saying. they will falter. I will guarantee you they will falter. But right now, they're doing pretty good. Raiders next get the Bears. That's a win. And the Broncos, I'm going to give them a win in that one. Peyton Manning hasn't looked that good. I'm giving them a win in that one. That is, oh my gosh. But yeah, the Raiders beat my Browns. The Bengals beat the Ravens 28-24. Andy Dalton just looks like a beast right now. I mean, if you have him in your fantasy league, you are living life. I'm dead serious. You are just living life right now. 20 for 32. On 32 attempts, he had 383 yards just on attempts. That's nearly 11 yards per attempt and 3 touchdowns. 20 for 32. A.J. Green got the best of it. 10 receptions, 227 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Wow. That is just awesome there. But the Bengals are just rolling. Bengals, next few games. They're going to get the Chiefs. That's going to be a close one. The Seahawks, I think, too, is going to be a close one. And the Bills, who've been very surprising this year, is going to be a close one. So we'll see if Andy Dalton can keep rolling. I tend to think that he will, but we'll see what happens. There's a good article here, or at least a good title on ESPN. Bengals must avoid a 3-0 deja vu. 3-0 deja vu. We'll see what happens there. But I tell you what, the Ravens, they get the Steelers next. And this is their chance for their first win of the year. I'll tell you why when I get there. But right now, the Ravens are 0-3, and I'm sorry, but they just can't get the ball rolling. The way that the scoring set up, they started like really slow, picked it up in the third quarter. Yeah, they won the fourth quarter, 17-14, but they did not win the game. 28-24 is the score. Bengals won. And the Patriots, Tom Brady's just playing angry. I mean, you can consider what he went through in the offseason. He is just playing real angry. 51-17 over the Jaguars. Patriots are now 3-0. Let's see if we can find a loss for them. Cowboys, nope. Colts, nope. Jets, nope. Dolphins, slightly possible. Redskins, nope. Giants, nope. Bills again, no. Maybe the Eagles? Nah. I don't think the Eagles either. I don't know if they're going to lose at all this year. Oh, man. I don't know if they are going to lose at all this year. We could have our first undefeated season since the Dolphins did it back in the 70s. Or was it the 60s, 70s? Long time ago. Long time ago. Jaguars, Colts, Buccaneers, Texans. Might be able to beat the Colts. Might beat the Buccaneers. I don't know. Jameis Winston's not doing too bad. I don't know about the Texans. We'll see what happens here. Saints and Panthers. Saints just can't do anything right. The Panthers seems like they can do everything right. Cam Newton went 21 to 31, 315 yards, 2 touchdowns. Panthers are looking pretty good. The Saints, sorry. I don't know if there's anything wrong with Drew Brees, but he hasn't really looked all that good this year so far. Just not that good there at all. I don't know if it's his offensive line. I don't know if it's his wide receivers, tight ends. I don't know. But this is something that Sean Payton has to figure out. He has to figure this out badly. Panthers 3-0, Saints 0-3. It is what it is. The Eagles beat the Jets 24-17. Eagles finally get a win, though they didn't score anything during the second half there at all, which does not look good. Kind of brought the Jets back into the game. But the Jets were kind of playing there with some heavy hearts. They did their best to try to win it for the kid, but they tried. They didn't give up. But, hey, it's what happens. Buccaneers. Jameis Winston went 17 to 36, 261 on yardage and 1 touchdown. Not too bad. They only scored 9 points, though. The Texans scored 19. Alfred Blue, 31 carries, 139 yards, 1 touchdown. And DeAndre Hopkins, 8 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Both Houston players. Buccaneers, I thought they weren't doing too bad. They're 1-2. Texans are 1-2. These are two teams that wanted to get off of that 0-2 start. I still think the Buccaneers are still a pretty good team. Vikings beat the Chargers 31-14. Phillip Rivers, 21 to 34, 246, and 1 touchdown. Adrian Peterson still running like a beast. 20 carries, 126 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's still running like a beast. Feed him the ball, man. He is a freak. Peterson is a freak. I mean, you don't. You can't be a 30-year-old and still run like that. He just does not give up, and I love that. I love that of the guy. Does not give up there at all. For this season, he's got 291 yards. He is projected to get 1,500 this year. in yardage. We'll see if that happens. Yeah, I think he'll get over 1,000. Definitely a 1,000-yard runner, but we'll see what happens here. Now, the Steelers versus the Rams. Steelers get the win 12-6. But there is a story to be had here. Within that game, Ben Roethlisberger he tore... I'm sorry, he did not tear his MCL. He sprained his MCL. And his ACL. So basically, the ligaments behind his knee is what he pulled behind his left knee. However, they were not torn. So that's really a good thing. So Ben Roethlisberger will be out 4 to 6 weeks for the Steelers. I wish I could talk to his family about this, because I'm in his area where he grew up, but I think that that this is going to be bad. The next game is this Thursday night against the Baltimore Ravens, and I don't know what Michael Vick's going to do. I don't know how... I don't know if the Steelers are going to draw back on their offensive play calling like probably they should. I mean, Vick's not the same player he was 20 years ago. You know, Michael Vick could just run the ball just like nobody's business. But he's not right. He's not there right now. And I don't think he'll ever... I don't think that Mike Vick could ever get back to that. He's a good backup, and that's what he's going to be, as a backup. Getting down towards the end of NFL here. Cardinals beat the 49ers. Sorry, 49ers, you suck. I'm sorry, but you suck. Arizona is just really good right now. The Bills beat up the Dolphins. Maybe I'm wrong about the Dolphins. I don't know. But the Bills beat up the Dolphins. Seahawks shut out the Bears. Bills beat the Dolphins 41-14. Cardinals 47-7 over the 49ers. And the Seahawks, they're coming into form, people. Russell Wilson, 20 out of 30, 235 on yardage, and 1 touchdown. Thomas Rawls for Seattle, 16 carries, 104 yards. And Jimmy Graham, tight end for the Seattle Seahawks, 7 receptions, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. Broncos doubled up on the Lions. Lions, when are they going to win? I don't know. This is going to be very, very curious to see if they're going to win at any time. Peyton Manning in this game, 31-24, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, not too bad. He needs to get back to his own art form. Instead of coming back or coming from behind in games, how he's ending games is how he needs to start games. Beautifully thrown ball, instead of throwing ducks like he has been. He needs to do the things that he is still physically capable to do. Otherwise, he's going to have to retire. Packers beat the Chiefs 38-28, and Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. That's what I keep hearing, and I saw some of the game there last night. 24-35, 333 yards, 5 touchdowns. He could be the league MVP this year. I think Tom Brady's got a say in that. Definitely he does, but I think it's going to be between him and Tom Brady. Because I don't think, even in running backs, nobody is going to reach this level. Nobody's going to reach this level of performance as what Aaron Rodgers is doing. It's not the fact that he's getting the yardage. It is how he's doing it. He's taking chances. This is the second game this year where he had a free play, he knew it, and he scored a touchdown. Nobody else does that. Nobody else does that kind of thing. Now we get the college football. Let's get to Saturday. Now, Ohio State has been losing number one votes since the beginning of the year. Right now, they're still sitting up on top of the standings. They're still number one. Michigan State's still number two. They did get some votes back because they beat Western Michigan. They didn't beat up Western Michigan, but they did beat them. Cardell Jones is starting to get back into his own into his own frame. The team is slowly improving. That is Ohio State, but there's still a lot that they need to get done because now they're going into the Big Ten schedule. So once you get into the Big Ten schedule, Indiana, Illinois, you're getting into teams that know how you like to operate. They know you inside and out. Good luck. You have to get better now. Now, with that said, Central Michigan and Western Michigan took a beating by Ohio State and Michigan State, so can't really complain there too much. Both teams are looking real good. But let's get to certain players like Leonard Fournette. This guy is running back for LSU, and he is just going absolutely nuts this year. Fournette is leading the country in average 208.3 yards per game. This is week number 4 in college. He's almost got 1,000 yards already. That's insane. And there's really nobody else that can really run them down. I mean, at least I don't think right now. It is early in the college football season still, where we're starting to get into league play. But we'll see what happens. And by the way, Burnett could actually put LSU in one of the top 4 positions at the end of the year. I'm just saying, he could. Burnett could win the Heisman Trophy. That is a pretty strong statement, but you know what? I think he can, and I think he will if he keeps this up. Now, another thing, what happened there this past Saturday, the Ducks are out of the top 25. They were beaten by Utah. Not beaten. They were about demolished by Utah. That really takes them out of the argument. Should they be in the top? Should they be back in the playoff or not? Nope, they're not. They're not going to be now. Forget it. They're done. They are done. UCLA beat up on Arizona, which really puts things in. Really puts a lot of people in the mindset that UCLA could grab one of those Final Four spots. You have to beat USC. You have to beat everybody on your schedule and get the Pac-12 championship. But if they do that, they would have the most impressive season, like Ohio State had their last year. Not because of what Ohio State went through, but if UCLA takes care of everybody on their schedule, they can be in that Final Four. Texas A&M, I did pick them to win at least the SEC West. They did rally past Arkansas there in overtime, so that looks good there. So far, I'm just creeping along with that pick. TCU, they got by Texas Tech 55-52, 107 points total score in that game. 107. That's a basketball score, yo. So could TCU right now be in the Final Four? Horned Frogs, y'all need a defense. Because I tell you what, if you got to the Final Four, you would be out. I'm sorry, you would be out. And the Volunteers cannot beat the Gators to save their life. This came down to a last-second field goal for poor Tennessee, and it was wide right. It was wide right by sheer inches. 24-22, I believe what the score was. But, hey. And Texas loses again to Oklahoma State. Texas is just bad all around. I mean, defense not doing well, offense not doing well. Their special teams. Did you see this punt? Texas's punter drops the ball. He received the snap, he drops the ball, he's standing back at his own 10-yard line. Or roughly his 10-yard line. Drops the ball, picks it back up, sees the rush coming, and just boots the punt out to his own 25. Oklahoma on the next possession scores a touchdown. Yep. Of course, I said that Ohio State, well, they cruised past Western Michigan. But how about Michigan? Oh, Big Blue. They blanked number 22 BYU. Michigan is now in the top 25. I'm not exactly sure as to where they're at in the top 25, but Michigan is in the top 25. Oh boy. Jim Harbaugh, look out. And people in the Big Ten, you need to get ready for Michigan. Because they are going to play smash mouth football. Because that's the way Michigan plays football. And how about Duke? Northwestern, you need to take a look at this. You beat Duke last week. Duke holds off number 2 Georgia to go 1-0 in the ACC. By the way, LSU was playing Syracuse. I think Fournette just had a really good game against Syracuse. So Michigan State, we're getting into kind of some teams as to who they face next. Michigan State, you're going to face Purdue. Ole Miss, yes, Ole Miss. They're a good team. You're going to face Florida next week. TCU against Texas. And Ohio State. We get Indiana. This is going to be tough unless Ohio State really does start opening up its playbook and start showing what it can do. And I think you're going to start seeing that in future games here. You might see a little bit more playbook there against Indiana, but we'll see how the game goes if Coach Meyer wants to open up the playbook or not. I would hope not. We're still a little early to opening up the playbook. But this is, once again, you're getting into league play, so might be a good idea. And UCLA gets Arizona State. Well, I think that's going to be a win for UCLA, but I'm nervous about them. We shall see what happens. And by the way, Harbaugh got onioned. To Jim Harbaugh, maybe one of the best things to happen to college football in years. So said the Onion. We'll see if that happens. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I say I hope not, but hey, we'll see if that happens. By the way, speaking of Michigan, there was a catch against BYU by Amara Darboe that it wasn't exactly like Odell Beckham, but man, it was close. I mean, he did reach back with one hand. He didn't reach way, way back with one hand like Odell Beckham did, but that was still an amazing catch. I gotta give cred. Gotta give cred with that. Now, if we're looking into some of the charts here, that Georgia has the most true freshmen played in 2015. They have 19. Army's got 17. Tennessee also has 17. Wyoming's got 15. True freshmen. Top active head coaches in terms of winning percentage. Chris Peterson, Washington. He has 118 with no ties, with an 847% percentage average winning percentage. Urban Meyer with 845, Jimbo Fisher 841, Bob Stoops 792, Nick Saban 749, Gary Patterson is 746. Some pretty high percentages right there. There's a miles traveled that I'm not going to get into, but whatever. Some teams do have to travel a long way, like, I don't know, Hawaii. Their away games are murderous, to say the least. Now, see, Josh Dobbs led Tennessee in passing, 83, rushing, 136, and receiving yards, 58, and a heartbreaking loss to Florida. That's the first time that happened since James Killen did in 2003. Bowling Green's quarterback Matt Johnson has thrown for 400 or more yards in all 4 games in the 2015 season. In addition, he put up 402 yards against Purdue in Week 4. .409 yards against Maryland, 443 against Memphis, 424 against Tennessee. And Bowling Green is still off to a 2-2 start. Despite 3 games against Power 5 teams. That's pretty good for Bowling Green. That's pretty good. And we're going to get into some baseball. Jonathan Papelbon was suspended by the Nationals due to his bullpen actions. See, Washington National suspended reliever Jonathan Papelbon for 4 games on Monday, a day after he attacked teammate Bryce Harper during a dugout altercation. For everything that Washington was prepared to do, they had the team to get into the playoffs, and now they're out. They had the closer, they had the offense, they had the pitching, they had everything that they needed. It just didn't work. Just did not work. So, yep. So, Papelbon's going to be out for 4 games. Might as well be out for the rest of the season. Bryce Harper, I think and I didn't see the full argument, but if you instigate an argument, you need to be out too. I think that the entire team needs to be wiped clean and just start over again. Yes, that's going to set you back a few years, but you've already set the team back a few years. There are some of the playoff spots have been filled. I think the Yankees can wrap one up there today. There's some other ones that can wrap up there today, but I will try and put that in next week's notes as to who made it, who didn't make it, and we shall see what happened. But first things first, but we need to get going here, so I will say this: the second winner for the chase to lock up their spot for the next round is Kevin Harvick. Yeah. Kevin Harvick. Blech. That's my thoughts on Kevin Harvick. Danica just had a bad wreck. I'm sorry, was it Harvick? No, I'm sorry, that was not Harvick. My bad. My bad. It was Matt Kenseth. My bad. Harvick had a bad day. It was Kenseth, and I don't care much for Kenseth either. So, yeah. So, Kenseth, he has etched his name into the next round. Not Harvick, Kenseth. Kenseth's name is now in the next round. And the one that's really should be nervous is my favorite driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is 1 point on the good side of being into the next round of the NASCAR Sprint Cup playoffs, so to speak. But one of the things I did want to talk about here was Tony Stewart. He has decided to retire after next season. I tend to think that everything that went on last year, including a civil suit that's going to be happening because of the Kevin Ward incident. I think that's still weighing on his mind. I think that he will be retiring because of this. We'll see what happens. Thompson and the Cavaliers did not reach an agreement. Tristan Thompson, this is getting close to the preseason for basketball. Cavaliers did not reach an agreement. Thompson wants a max deal, a 3-year max contract. And the Cavaliers said, we cannot do that. So this is something that they are going to have to work out The feeling, according to ESPN, some of their insiders say that Thompson will still sign with the Cavaliers. There are some details that need to be worked out, so we'll see what happens here. USC was in Japan. And there was just a beautiful, just vicious spin kick by Uriah Hall. And I would talk about this a little bit more, but I am running short on time. I need to get moving. So that is something that you can go check out. If you follow is the word, at Uriah Hall MMA, he did post a picture on Twitter about that flying kick. And a flying knee. A spinning kick and a flying knee. Yikes. So, and by the way, John Jones did cop a plea deal, and he will avoid jail. He was one of the biggest fighters in MMA, biggest names, but he really messed himself over. Did some drugs. I think he was doing drugs. Got in trouble with the law, basically, and I think in this case he is he's not going to go to jail, so that's a good thing. You know, he got a plea deal. He's going to be out of jail, so that's fine. He'll be all right. Now, here's something that I thought, or a couple of things that I thought would be really, really interesting. Now that we're on the esports side, finally. Took a little too long with NFL. My fault. But anyway. Activision announces a $3 million Call of Duty League. They did that there last Thursday. So $3 million going for, or is going to be issued out to players for Call of Duty. But this is going to be a tournament. Or basically within tournaments. Maybe multiple tournaments. Call of Duty Championship will move from spring to fall, and the $3 million pot will be split across the LAN events, series prizes, and the championship. So this will be split among 3 different groups. If they did that evenly, then it would be $1 million apiece, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, be $1 million apiece. But we'll see what happens here. I don't really tend to think it's going to be split evenly. I think you're going to see the major part of this money be put into the champion itself and the championship itself. You know, maybe around the $2 million range, $1.5 million range. But we'll see what happens. The Call of Duty World League kicks off in January. $3 million. So why did this happen? Activision, I think, is really looking at how esports is growing. Look, they're in association with Blizzard. Blizzard came out with Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, and they're coming out with Overwatch. Not only that, they have Call of Duty, and they're also looking at other games like Smite, like League of Legends, and they're seeing all these different things that are going on with all these different MOBAs or hero brawlers. We'll see what happens. And they're not the only ones looking at this. The next story says that Turner Broadcasting is really looking into airing live events of different esports. TBS, Turner Broadcasting Service, very funny, is set to broadcast 20 live events over the course of 2016. The parties, they cut a deal with WME/IMG, and the parties cut a deal with game publisher Valve to feature its Counter-Strike Global Offensive first-person shooter and other partners that are yet to be named. Other partners, it's basically just people that are games that are yet to be named. So who could really benefit here? If Turner wants the biggest esports to grow their idea, they want League of Legends. Hands down. So watch for League of Legends to be named here. They would also go after Blizzard and say, can we get some Heroes of the Storm? You know, could we broadcast some Heroes of the Storm tournaments? They could actually do that. Now, there has been some pushback because if you look at what ESPN did for the Heroes of the Dorm tournament, there was pushback on Twitter from within and outside of ESPN because to them, it did not make any sense to have an esport on a sport network. They were making fun of it. There was more pushback than there was support. Now, within the gaming communities, there was a lot of support for this. And that was to be expected. Okay? But and this is something that TBS really has to look at. If you're going to show esports, then you really have to be careful as to the times, as to when these different esports are going on. You know, summer, you have baseball, okay? You could pick, and look what's coming. You got basketball coming, so you don't want to interrupt those, okay? You have your own shows you got to feed. There are other things going on within TBS that could really affect this. And there's criticism for TBS too that I saw that people think that TBS is just doing this to save their own cable subscriptions. To that, I say bogus. TBS a lot of people have developed apps. They have developed other ways for people to show or to watch individual shows. Netflix, they show individual shows. Watch ESPN app, which that does show esports. Twitch has its own. YouTube Gaming has its own. So there's all your esports right there. So yes, there's a place for esports, but if we've seen the numbers, and we did see the numbers there last week of people coming in to esports, moves like these could, in theory, grow these numbers even more. I don't see that happening there too much, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I got to get off my soapbox. We got 20 minutes of show left. And I got a lot of notes to go through. So, Emil HeatoN Christensen and the other former owners of Ninjas and Pajamas are reportedly to set the face trial for allegedly failing to abide by accounting laws. I believe this is in Germany. Laws are there to protect the people. And if your country has laws, you have to abide by them. No matter what you think. No matter what you say, no matter what you do. You have to abide by the law. In pre-trial hearing, Stockholm Esport Production was also accused of failing to pay employment tax on the Ninjas in Pajamas players. HeatoN reportedly said that the responsibility of the other HeatoN reportedly said that was the responsibility of the other co-owners, that he was acting in good faith. One owner has already admitted to the violations, but has yet to plead guilty, as he reportedly had no intention to commit fraud. You must abide by the law. You have contracts with players. They signed with you. You have to pay them. That's all the Counter-Strike news that we have this week. Let's move on to Dota 2. And the Frankfurt Major has been announced. The first Dota Major will take place over 6 days at Festalmesse in Frankfurt, Germany, from November 16th through the 21st. It'll feature 16 teams, all competing at the main event for a total prize pool of $3 million, and will be produced by ESL. A $3 million pot. This will be done in Germany, as what I just said. And tickets will be on sale. So if you're in Germany, I'm not sure what the currency is there, but it is 50. So for me, I will say $50 because that's American for me, but you'll know what I mean. The Summit 4 regional qualifiers have been announced as well. The regional qualifiers for Summit 4 will run from October 1st to November 5th and will feature 41 teams in 4 regions. 41 teams. I don't have time to go through them. So the invited teams and the winner of each open qualifier will compete in double elimination brackets, with the team in each region qualifying for the LAN event in Los Angeles, California. Good luck. And the ESL One New York bracket has been scheduled and announced. The ESL One bracket consists of Team Secret versus Fnatic, SDEC versus Team Fire, Virtus Pro versus eHome, and Evil Geniuses versus Vega Squadron. All 4 quarterfinal matches will take place on October 3rd, with the semifinals and grand finals taking place on October 4th. The base prize pool for ESL One New York is $250,000, with the winning team taking home over $100,000. Good luck to those that are in this tournament. Heroes of the Storm. TCM Gaming is now entering Heroes of the Storm. The pro team is now expanding, and they are welcoming in as one of their captains. As their captain, Christian Ace of Spades Lipa. He will be the captain for TCM Gaming's Heroes of the Storm division. He has been in other gaming communities, and TCM did really get him out of that. So good luck to him. Good luck to TCM. You're a little late to the party for the first Heroes of the Storm championship, but there will be other tournaments, definitely. And eStar, while or eStar NYL, if I'm right there, eStar NYL, they are heading to BlizzCon. This was about a month late, so I do apologize for that, but they have joined Tempo Storm and Cloud9 from the Americas. These guys are coming from China. eStar NYL, good luck. China is a very tough, very high in their gaming place. This is going to be a very, very tough bracket for every single team going into BlizzCon now. Good luck. And by the way, for Hearthstone, the Collegiate Hearthstone Championship will be, was on Twitch last night, and will be on Twitch every single week. This will be on twitch.tv/play Hearthstone. This is the opening parts of the tournament. This will be all week long. The stream starts at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So good luck to everybody involved. And we will. I'll definitely follow along and report to you on who wins. Now, as far as where Hearthstone goes, Team Celestial signs Chaoshen, Zhang, Chaoshen, Shaoan has joined Team Celestial. This is a 5-man team. Tiddler Celestial, Silent Storm, Bernice, and Ding is all a part of the team now. And the North American qualifier has also been concluded. They are going to the Americas Championship. That is VPLS, Hot Form Purple, Jab, Nias, Trump, Mogul, Korea. Those players will be going to the Americas Championship. That will also be on the official Playstone Twitch, or Play Hearthstone Twitch channel on October 10th and 11th to see who will be crowned the regional champion. Now for League of Legends, we're going to end this with a power ranking. Yes, we are. And essentially, I got only a few minutes left, so let's start out with the bottom. At the bottom, there's about 16 teams here listed. Bangkok Titans. They got a nice looking logo there. I do love it. Bangkok Titans play one style and one style only. Fight, fight, fight. And then fight some more. Some of their fights have not been bloodbaths, but apparently they've been doing pretty well. So, number 15 is Pain Gaming. Pain mostly get by on their individual skills of their players and are recognized among the best of their respective positions in their region. In the past, Pain has won games they otherwise should have lost, thanks to their talents of their core carries. However, Pain's main issues are the same as those which so often plague lower-tier teams. So that's a good name for the team. Pain Gaming. Flash Wolves and Cloud9 are tied for 13th. Cloud9 has been the story of League of Legends so far. They've come back in different tournaments. They've come back in just different things. They're really like the comeback team of different esports, I think. Team Solo Mid, they're coming at number 12. H2K, number 11. Counter Logic Gaming in number 10. AHQ at number 9. Origin, number 8. Coup Tigers, number 7. Invictus Gaming, number 6. Number 5's Fnatic. You've seen that name a lot. Number 4 is KT Rossler. Number 3 is Edward Gaming. Number 2 is LGD. And number 1 is SK Telecom. And SK Telecom, gotta scroll all the way up to there. They are the perfect blend of World Championship experience, mechanical skill, and genius. SK Telecom T1 enters Worlds as the undisputed best team in South Korea, winning the spring and summer splits of champions. SKT return with the three key components from their 2013 World Championship team. Gakoma, the brains behind the operation, as the head coach Benji, the eyes and ears of the team, and the selflessness right-hand man, and Frecker, the greatest player in the game's history. Coming into a patch that will allow him to unleash his arsenal of champions in the world. T1 are a team with a few weaknesses that can destroy you in the early game with their technical prowess, or come from behind in later stages of the game to defeat you in a surgical-like discretion macro game. They are an awesome team by the looks of it. For League of Legends, they're just going to be tough to beat in the upcoming tournament. Anyway, you hear the music, so therefore it is time to end the show. This show is on alphageekradio.com, channel 3 at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is also on bumblebeenet.com/live at 3 p.m. as well. It is on iTunes. Please give us a 5-star rating, and Stitcher. Please give us a thumbs up. The feed is BumblebeeNet. That's what you're looking for. All of the episodes of this very podcast is on bumblebeenet.com. And on Twitter, you can find BumblebeeNet at BumblebeeNet. That's for the network. The show is at Bridge of Sports, and I am at Joe Brums. Facebook, you can find the podcast there at Bridge of Sports on Facebook. Or if you have anything for me, you can email me, joe@bumblebeenet.com. That's it for this week. Now we head into next week with a lot of different tournaments going on. I think we find out what's going on with the Europe for Heroes of the Storm here soon. Let's see, week 4 for NFL, week 5 for college. It'll be very, very interesting to see what goes on this week. We shall see you next week at this time. Here's the time where I get to say, you have just crossed the bridge of sports. Bye-bye. This show is a part of the Bumblebee Network. You can find out more information about this show or the network at bumblebeenet.com. That is BUMBLEB
This podcast recorded before a live internet audience. To learn how to listen and watch live, visit tunein.alphageekradio.com.